my story, let me take you back to 1996, 20 years ago now, and it was a little story from the days of student radio in Dunedin. So where are we at? We are in a little studio. It's Friday night, it's about 11:30 p.m. And usually what happens in student radio is that you have a bit of an entourage. So there's a couch. I mean, I have two guys, and Noelle and BFF, 7 people all the time. An entourage. I have 2 people, and I have a little bit of a Friday night music show, okay? So I'm kicking back, true story, and I'm just laying down some nice ambient beats. The boom, the boom, boom, the boom, a boom. That's it, just kicking back, and I've got 2 mates on the couch. One's Mark, and the other's Sean. They're hard cases, right? So one's a punk, one's a skinhead, and I don't know how I got into touch with these guys, but they were talking about a bit of a drug run. And Sean was saying, mate, you've got to get those 2 tinnies. You've got to get those 2 tinnies from me because they're worth $500. So $250. By the way, go up north. You've got to get to the doctors, harangue the doctors for those blue pills, come back, we can offload them for $1,000, right? And this is a bit of a thing in the early 90s in a certain scene in Dunedin, and I'm just going, oh, God, just relax on the couch, stop talking as I was drinking my cup of tea and ketamine. And then I said, shh, got to do a voice break. And so I put my headphones on, set to put the microphone on, and weird, the microphone thing is already red, which is a bit of bizarre. And I thought, well, that can't be, so I turn it off and on, off and on. And off and on, off and on, off and on. And then on again, I'm doing my voice break. But in the rest of the show, I thought, I've got a funny feeling here. I've got a very funny feeling. So I stayed after the show. The show finished at midnight. Mark and Sean went home. I took out the air check tape. And I popped it in, had a beer, scrolled it through to 11:30, and I had my beats. Mate, we've got to get to those doctors up north. We've got to get pills, bring them back $1,000, 2 tinnies, $500. Oh, my God. And it was one of those defining moments where, this is my career. In all seriousness. So what should I do? Should I partake? Should I become a criminal? Because what I could have done is I could have taken that tape, cut it, spliced it, put the sellotape together and put it back. Bang. But if someone had heard it, gone back to the air check tape and said it had been doctored, it would have been me. What to do? Moral dilemma. So I decided to leave it. Who's going to listen to a show on Friday night Radio 1 in Dunedin at 11:30? Not many, if any. But understandably, I was nervous, young, in the throes of my career, burgeoning. So day 1, wake up, breakfast, put my sunglasses on, off to university. Everything is sweet, nothing happens. Day 2, breakfast, sunglasses on, nothing happens. All cool. Out of the woods. Day 3, same thing. At the end of the day 3, go to the OUSA, the welfare officer goes, oh, by the way, Wallace, yeah. He goes, good show Friday night. And I say, thank you. The Friday night show. Thank you. Hey, a song, 11:30ish. That ambient, and 2 guys were in the studio with you talking about a drug run. And I go, there was no people in the studio. There was no people in the studio. Yes, there was. There were 2 people talking over the beat of music. I heard it. He goes, no. That was a song. That was a piece of hip hop. And he goes, no, it wasn't because their voices were not in sync with the beat. They were uncoupled to the beat. They were just talking. I goes, no, it's a new type of hip hop. He goes, what's this new type of hip hop? And I said, it's called post hip hop. And he goes, post hip hop? And I go, yeah, it's a new type of, it's from Bristol. In fact, it's outside of Bristol, part of the Bristol sound. That's where you're from. He goes, Hattersby, who you wouldn't have heard of. And he goes, well, what was the name of the artist? And I go, DJ Shadowlands. And he goes, well, what was the name of the song, Wallace? He goes, oh, fuck, Lord, all these questions, all these fucking questions. And you know what? It's really hard to bullshit. It's hard to place lie upon... That's why I've got so much admiration for Jerry Brown, politicians. Scrub that, Paul. Because it's hard to weave a tapestry of lies. Lie upon lie. I said, what's the song? The song was called The Drugs Don't Work. And he goes, what, like the Verve song? And I go, the drugs don't work again, in brackets. And at this stage, he's just looking at me. And then he goes, hey, Marco. And Marco's a big hip-hop fan. And Marco comes running out, hey, guys, hey, Wallace. Hey, love your show. Didn't hear it the other night, but hey, what's going on? He goes, Wallace here was just talking about this new style of hip-hop. Really? He goes, yeah, it's called post-hip-hop. Post, wow. That sounds great. And he goes, have you heard of it? No. And he goes, have you heard of an artist called DJ Shadowlands? No. You haven't heard of a song called The Drugs Don't Work? Again? He goes, no, but I'll check it out. So then just me being the OUSA welfare officer and me just looking at each other. And he goes, so the drugs don't work again, eh? I go, yeah. Yeah, it's an anti-drug song. And he goes, so why don't you maybe talk at our drugs week in a month's time? Bring the song, maybe. And I said I would, but it's a white label, and I lent it to a guy in Purukanui, and he's very unreliable. But you know what? If I can get it off him, which is very unlikely, I'd love to be part of your anti-drugs conference. And he goes, we'll be in touch. And 20 years later, have never heard from him again.